श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीवासरंगपरकालमुनित्रयाप्तलक्ष्मात्मरक्षणैत्युद्योगागमान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूतमनर्गशीलं गोपालदेशिकमुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुखतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। Now we have been enjoying the Vishnu Sahasranama Slokam Artha Anubhavam, the meanings, as much as possible, as beautifully commented by the Acharyas. So to the best of our ability, we are sharing and enjoying the divine attributes, the Kalyana Gunams of Perumal. So here we would like to continue with the Artha Anubhavams. However, it is to be understood that even if you do not know the meaning and you recite the Vishnu Sahasranama, it is going to grant you the same benefits as much as you know the meanings. However, if you know the meanings, you would be able to enjoy it more and immersing yourselves in the divine Anubhavams of the Kalyana Gunams of Perumal. Thereby you will be overwhelmed with more devotion and unflinching Mahavishwasam on Perumal. So this is also the Karunyam of Perumal for us to give us an opportunity to enjoy. So we will have the 88th Slokam today. Sulabha Suvrata Siddha Shatrujit Shatrutapanaha Nyagrodho Dumbaro Shwatta Chanura Antranishudhanaha. Sulabha, easily, Sulabham, he can be easily attained. Suvrataha, he has taken a good, strong vratam, the vow, the pledge, the shapatam. He has taken a strong, determined vow, the shapatam, the pledge, vratam. Suvrataha, siddhaha, he is ever ready, always ready, ever available. Siddhaha. Shatrujit Shatrutapanaha. Shatru, he who occupies the bodies of Shatrujit to torment the devotees' enemies. For example, he gets into the people, the good ones, the virtuous ones who go against the evil doers, the devotees' enemies, and destroy them. So he gets into those bodies of the people who destroy the enemies of the devotees. Nyagrodho Dumbaraha, he who has the most auspicious Sri Vaikuntham as his residence, and he is above the Prapancham. Ashwattaha, he who has established the Devatas for performing various functions, for performing various duties like Indra, Agni, Vayu, Surya, Chandra, like that. Then Chanuradra Nishudhanaha, he who destroyed the wrestler by the name Chanura. So these are the one-liners. However, the wonderful meanings have been given by the Acharyas. So let me go through the wonderful meanings of the Acharyas. Sulabha, Suvrata, Siddhaha, Shatrujit, Shatrutapanaha, Nyagrodho Dumbaro Swatta Chanurantra Nishudhanaha. Sulabha, one who can be easily attained. Sulaban is Parama Sulaban, because he who makes it possible to attain Sukam. Also it means Sukam Labataha Sulabha. He makes it possible for us to attain the Sukam, the pleasures. First let's see the easily attainable meaning. So his Saulabhyam, the being easily attainable, is one of the two most important gunams that we enjoy, the bhaktas enjoy, the devotees enjoy. What are the two gunams? One is Saulabhyam, other is Saushilyam. What is Saulabhyam? Is being easily attainable. Saushilyam is who is easily accessible. who comes down to us to mingle with us. So, Shaushilya Shaulabhyam. Parasara Bhattar Vyakhyanam is, he gives the example of a multi-defaced body called Kubja. Kubja was a lady who used to sell sandal paste, the Chandanam, to Kamsa, to the Kamsa's palace. She used to make sandal paste and offer to sell to Kamsa's palace. And she has a hunchbacked body. She has got all the hunchback and very ugly looking lady. And she offered, when Krishna and Balarama walked in the streets of the Mathura to kill Kamsa, they were coming to the Kamsa's palace. And she was so mesmerized by the beauty of Krishna. She got him to visit her house. She seized Krishna by the dress and said, "Come to my house." Vastre pragya govindam mama geham vrajeti vai, Vishnu Puranam says. So here, pattudai adiyavarkku eliyavan. And then she offered sandal paste to Krishna. And Krishna hugged her and straightened her back. So he is so easily attainable by the normal people. So Pattudai Adiyavarkku Eliyavan, Thiruvaimozhi says, he is easily accessible to those who approach him with bhakti. After describing Bhagavan's Sarveshwaratvam, the supreme lordship, in the first 20 verses in Thiruvaimozhi, Nammalvar starts to describe his Shaulabhyam, the easily attainable, in the first pasuram of the third Thiruvaimozhi Padikam, where he starts describing the incident where he allowed himself to be tied down to the ural, the mortar, by Yashoda, just to please Yashoda. He allowed himself to be tied down by Yashoda with a small rope to the mortar, to the ural. There is a tradition, there is an anecdote, story, that Nammalvar, when he sang this, Ettiram Uralinod Inaindirindi Yengiya Elive, Uralinod, and when he was tied down to the mortar, he allowed himself to be tied down by the mortar. When Nammalvar sang that line, he was so moved by the Saulabhyam of Perumal, by the easily attainable, by coming so easily tied down by the illiterate cowherd lady, the Sarveshwaran, Parandaman. He simply swooned, he fainted, he passed out at the simple, unassuming Kalyana Gunam of Emperuman, mingling with all, and was in that state of lost consciousness for 6 months, Nammalvar, before regaining consciousness and started singing again. That's the kind of anubhavam that Alvars had on Emperuman, on Saulabhyam. Yennilum varum, yennini venduvam, Thiruvaimozhi says. If we count number and utter the number 26, he says, "Did you call me?" When you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you say 26, he would say, "Did you call me?" Because there are 25 tattvams. The first is Mula Prakriti, the Prapancham. From there comes the Mahan, the Mahat Tattvam. From that comes the Ahankaram, I, the association of I, mine, Ahamkara Tattvam. That's nothing to do with Ahankaram, the Garvam. It is Aham Tattvam. From the Ahankaram, there is Sattvika Ahankaram, Tamasa Ahankaram, Rajasa Ahankaram. From the Sattvika Ahankaram come the 5 Karmendriyams, 5 Jnanendriyams. From Tamasa Ahankaram come the Panchabhutams, the qualities like Shabdam, Sparsham, the taste, the Rupam, the fragrance, the smell, all that. So there are 24 tattvams. 25th tattvam is Jivatma tattvam. 26 is Paramatma tattvam. So that's the tattvam, the entity which is described. So if someone counts numerals and say accidentally utters the word number 26, Perumal thinks that this person is thinking of me as the 26th Tattvam. So he is willing to appear Ennilum Varum, says Nammalvar. Such is the willingness to be easily accessible by us. And so that is why perhaps English alphabet there are 26 letters. Even when Vedanta Desikan comments that when Sugriva surrendered to Rama for help in getting his kingdom and his wife, Rama considered as the supreme responsibility to protect Sugriva above any other responsibility of his, including protecting Sita. Sugriva, I become friend. He is my brother now. Such is the power of Sharanagati to him. Lord Rama tells Sugriva, Tvayi kinchit samapanne kim karyam sitaya mama Bharatena Mahabaho Lakshmanena Yaviyasha Shatrugnena cha Shatrugna Swa Sharirena va Punaha. Yuddhagandam, it is told by Valmiki that Rama mentions that if ever you meet with death, Sugriva, by my lack of protecting you, by my enabled lack of protecting you, if you are meeting death, I do not care if any of the others are left behind, such as Sita, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, or for that matter even myself. If you go away, what's the point? What's the point of saving others? That's the level of easily accessible through the simple act of Sharanagati. Sulabha. Next is Suvrataha. This is a beautiful slokam. What a wonderful collection of names, Nama by Bhishma, as compiled by Vyasa, as picked up by the Rishis. Rishibi Parigitina. So Suvrataha, he who has taken a good, strong vratam, vow. So promise. Suvrataha, promise, vow. So Rama tells when Vibhishana performs Sharanagati, he says, Sagradeva prapannaya tavasmi tica yachate abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami yetat vratam mama. To him who has sought my protection only once, if somebody seeks my protection only once, perform Sharanagati and begs me saying, I am yours, to that person I give protection from all beings. That is my vratam. That is my vow. We have his own assurances to Bhagavad Ramanuja in Sharanagati Gadyam. Anritam nokta purvam me nachavakshe kadachana. I have never uttered a lie before, nor I will ever. My words will never be false. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masuchaha. In Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 66th slokam. He says, relinquish all karma, jnana, bhakti yogam and seek me alone as the Sharanagatan, as the refuge, as the redemption. I will release you from all papams. Do not lament, do not worry. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will grant you moksha. Ramo dvirna vibhashate. Rama does not do double talking. Once he says, that's all. Even Nammalvar says in Thiruvaimazhi, Sharanamagum tanatal adaindarkellam maranamanal vaikuntham kodukkum piran. If the Lord grants Sri Vaikuntham to whomsoever perform Sharanagati at his feet, this he does at the time of their death. Sharanamagum tanatal adaindarkellam. Whoever it is, regardless of caste, color, creed, gender, even whether they are human or birds or animals, regardless of who they are, if they perform Sharanagati, the Lord grants moksham to them, Vaikuntham, and he does at the time of their death in that janma. So, என் ஊரை சொன்னாய், என் பேரை சொன்னாய், என் அடியாரை நோக்கினாய், அவர்கள் விடாயை தீர்த்தாய், அவர்களுக்கு ஒடுங்கல் நிழல் கொடுத்தாய், ஜன்ம பரம்பரைகள் தோறும். So, Swami Pillalokacharya in Sri Vachana Bhushanam, he says, if someone utters the name of the Divya Desam, the temple, without even thinking that it is a Divya Desam, Suppose somebody says you are going to your cousin's place, and somebody says, where are you going? You say, I am going to Srirangam. And you are going to your cousin's place for his daughter's wedding. I am going to Srirangam. Perumal takes one stroke, one tick mark. He has told my Divya Desam. That is a punyam. If somebody, even without thinking that it is a temple, if somebody says Srirangam or any Divya Desam, he is willing to give credit to the person for having mentioned the name of Divya Desam. If somebody calls me Madhavakkannan, and then immediately he says, Perumal says, he uttered my name. So thus consider these as our good deeds and protects us. So Suvrataha, he takes that vow, promise to assure us. Sulabha Suvrata Siddhaha. This is yet another beautiful name. Siddham. Siddham means Siddhamayiriken. If my friend says, tomorrow I will pick you up at 10 o'clock, be ready. And 9:45 he calls me, are you ready? I am saying, Siddhamayiriken, I am ready. I am readily available for you to be picked up. Siddham, that is called Siddhopayam. He is ready. He whose protection is ever available, always ready, without any special part on the part of his devotees. Siddham. He is called Siddhopayam, the already existing means. So he is always ready to protect us. He is always ready to grant us moksha. He is always ready to get rid of all our papams and grant us absolute redemption. He who is fully accomplished without depending on anyone or anything else. But why is he not giving us? Because we have to raise our hand. Please grant us. We have to, and so he is like a lift. The lift that takes us to the 18th floor. He is like a lift. It's always there to take us up, to elevate us to the top floor where we want to go. He is always there. Then why are we not going? Because we have to take an effort of getting to the lift. Press the button 18. Thereby the lift will take us to that. So we have to take an effort of saying, I am your refuge. I am your Bhaktan. I am your Sharanagatan. You are my Sharanyan. You are the one who needs to protect me. And that is Siddha, he who accomplishes flawlessly to the completion and perfection. He is Siddhopaya. So he is always ready to protect us. Bhatta's Vyakhyanam is, his protection is available to the devotees without any special effort on our part. The act of protecting his devotees is natural to him, always existent in him. And Nammalvar describes us here that Bhagavan is already materialized for our protection, since he rushes to give us Sri Vaikuntham. Just he rush. We approach Narayana by reciting his names, which are expressions of his qualities. And the Lord hastens to hand over Sri Vaikuntha Lokam itself to us, to enjoy at our will, whenever we wish. So he says, Vinnulagam Taruvanai Virayindran Vidhi Vagaye. Swami Desikan explained that among the upayams, the means for attaining him, he is already existing as Siddha Upayam. Sri Shankaracharya gives the interpretation that this nama signifies that he is fully accomplished without depending on anyone. Ananyadina Siddhitvat Siddhaha. That's the name of Siddhaha. Then Chatrujit Shatrutapanaha. From this 826 name up to 833, the 8 names are talking about the Avesha Avataram of Narayana. Avesha Avataram means he gets into the Jivatmas who is performing the dharmic duty of removing the evildoers, removing the enemies of the devotees of Bhaktas. He who occupies the bodies of Shatrujit to torment the devotees' enemies. And all interpreters other than Parasara Bhattar treat that Shatrujit as one nama and Shatrutapanaha as the other nama. The essential meaning of the two interpretations is same. Bhagavan ensures that the enemies of the Bhaktas are punished and conquered. Either he himself does it, that is Shankaracharya's interpretation, as Rama, Krishna, Hayagriva, Narasimha, as in the case of Ravana, Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, etc. Or he does it by entering into the someone's with Shakti and then accomplishes the destruction of the enemies of the Bhaktas. So, Shatrujit Shatrutapanaha, in addition to using his powers directly by destroying the enemies of his devotee, he also uses his powers by entering into others with his tejas. For example, when Devas were controlled and conquered by the Asuras, the Devas during the previous Yugams, when there was a king in Rama's ancestors in the Surya Vamsham in Ikshvaku Kulam by name the king Puranjaya, and that Puranjaya was ruling the Desham of Ayodhya, and Devas came to Puranjaya because he was strong, he had a big army. They came and sought his protection. Puranjaya said, I am willing to protect you, but I need a vahanam, a bull, a strong bull, so that I will ride on that and kill the Asuras. And Devendra said, I myself will become the bull. So he took the form of the bull, and then the bull has got a neck which is slightly raised called Timil, and that is called Kutsa. So Kutsta, and since he rode on the bull, he is called Kutsa Vamsam. So Kakutsta, and that is why Rama is called Kakutsta. So, and then of course this Puranjaya went and conquered from the Asuras and then gave back Deva's kingdom back to them. So thus Narayana entered into the body of this Puranjaya. Thereby, how could he win against the Asuras, who could not be even conquered by the Devas? So that is why when you are willing to be dharmic, when you want to stand firm against the adharmic people and against the enemies of bhaktas, if you take up that action, if you stand in the path of dharma against the evil, Perumal would enter into you and then become, his tejas would be enshrined in you to conquer against the adharma. That's the takeaway from this nama. So that's called Shatrujit Shatrutapanaha, Nyagrodho Dumbaraha. Nyagrodho Dumbaraha means one who has become the supreme abode with Lakshmi. That is in Sri Vaikuntham. That is magnificent. But who is at the command of the devotees who approach him with folded hands. Nyagrodho Dumbaraha. Nyagrodho means he who is controlled by those who stand below, bowing to him with folded hands. He who controls those below him. So, the Nyagrodho, Parasara Bhattar's Vyakhyanam is he who is controlled by those who stand bowing to him with folded hands. Vishnu Dharmottaram says the sight of folded hands, the act of joining hands is Anjali. Immediately pleases the Lord at once, without delay. Swami Yamunacharya, also called as Alavandar, in 28th Slokam in Stotra Ratnam, he says, Twadangri muddisya kadapi kenachit yata tata vapi sakrit kratonjalihi tadaiva mushnatya shubhani sheshataha shubhani pushnati najatu hiyate. 28th Slokam. If anyone worships your feet with folded hands, even once, at any time, under any pretext, at that very moment, all the papams of that person are driven away, and infinite kalyanams, mangalams, auspiciousness accumulate for that person. Sarva mangalam will happen to that person. That means if you perform Sharanagati once with folded hands at any time, under any pretext, in under any circumstance by anyone, immediately Perumal removes all our papams. That is Anjali Mudra. Kattunna Panniya Perumayan, the Supreme Parabrahman being subservient to Yashoda's affection. That is also Negrodha. And Sri Shankaracharya mentioned that for the purpose of interpretation, he says here, one who is primordial, above all, above everyone. That is Shankaracharya's Vyakyanam, Negrodho. And the Nama signifies that he controls all beings that are below him and envelops them with his Prakriti Maya. This interpretation can be derived by using the meaning below, Nyak, Nyagrodho Dumbaros, Ashwattaha. Here, Ashwattaha means here he who has established the impermanent Devatas for performing various functions. Ashwattaha. Parasara Bhattar mentions about Chaturmukha Brahma, Devendra, Agni, Vayuhu. They are all Jivatmas. Other than Sriman Narayana, all right from the grass up to Chaturmukha Brahma, everybody is a Jivatma. Because of their Punya Karma, they take these births. And he gets into them as an indweller, as the Antaryami, and then he performs those functions. Parasara Bhattar gives the support from Sri Vishnu Puranam. Sage Parasara Maharishi has blessed us with the Vishnu Puranam, which is Satvika Puranam. Murtim, Rajomayim, Brahmim, Astriya, Srijati Prajaha. There is a slokam which says, residing within the body of Brahma, composed of Rajoguna, Bhagavan creates the world. He takes the body of the Indra, the Kala, composed of Tamoguna. He swallows the universe. And he takes the body of Mahavishnu as the protector, composed of Sattvaguna, and protects the world. Irukkum irai iruttu unna evvulagukkum tan murti niruttinan deivangalaga adeiva nayakantane. Thiruvaimali. Here he says the lower devatas whom you are want to worship for many different worldly benefit are like the tax collectors. Irukkum irai iruttu unna ivvulagukkum tan murti niruttinan deivangalaga adeiva nayakantane. So he keeps these devatas as tax collectors. They all have been established in their positions by my Lord, who is Devanayakan, who is Devadi Devan, who is chief of all. So this is what is called here. Then next nama is Chanurantra Nishudana. He who slew the wrestler by name Chanura. Here Bhagavan slaying of an Asura wrestler by name Chanura. The one, there was a Chanura Mushtika. There were two wrestlers in the Kamsa's palace, and the Chanura was sent by Kamsa from the kingdom of Andhra. So Chanurantra Nishudanaha, that is Shankaracharya's Vyakyanam. Here Chanurantra Mushu, one who causes extreme pain and misery to those who trouble the good and Satvika minded people, Bhaktas. That is also another meaning. He who destroyed Chanura, Duryodhana and his brothers. Chanurascha, Andascha, Duryodhanadhyaha. Tan Nishudayati iti Chanurantra Nishudanaha. This is mentioned by Satyasanta Yachiraja. So, Chanurantra Nishudanaha. Dhanyosmi. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.